Jenkins.
Here.
Bowerstocks.
Here.
Vogel.
Here.
Triplett.
Here.
Prignitz.
Here.
Sires.
Here.
Wonderful. Item number 3, approval of the agenda. Look for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for June 17th.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say aye. Great, motion passes. Item number 4, approval of the P&Z Commission meeting minutes for April 15th, 2024. Look for a motion.
Make a motion to approve those minutes as written.
Second.
Second.
Krista. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Great, motion passes. Item number 5, Big Creek Ridge Plat 1 amended preliminary plat. No, or
Thank you for your time. Dean Roger with Civil Design Vantage here on behalf of ECR LLC. Eric Greb just called me about an hour ago. He wanted to be here, but he had something come up, so it's just me tonight. So I just want to give you the vicinity map just so you can see the area we're talking about. It's this 3 acres right here in the far northwest corner of what you guys approved last year, the overall plat. So this 3 acres, originally the original buyer of the property wanted to retain this, and over the course of the last 8 months decided that he didn't want it anymore. That's why he left it as an outlot, because he didn't want to do it, basically. So this outlot's 3 acres total, and pretty straightforward. All we're doing is splitting it in half and then put 2 single-family lots on it. So you got 2 large single-family lots, over an acre each. Don't see that. So we're basically just proposing a shared driveway. So we only have one access on Northside Drive. That'll be right across the street from the access on Knapp's property. So those will all line up.
Is that 7th Street, the new 7th Street construction?
Northeast 7th Street, yes.
Okay.
We're fine with all the comments from engineering staff. The only thing that's a little unusual is, since we're not adding any more streets, we're trying to protect all these trees down here. We're just requesting a waiver of stormwater detention. There's a lot of mature woodlands on the site, so we're trying to save about half the trees on the site. Putting in stormwater would obviously require a lot of those trees to be removed, so trying to preserve that. So that's really the only request, I guess. Happy to answer questions. Now we're after Travis's report.
Where's the water go?
Just sheet flows to the back of the lots. So basically gonna have 2 single-family homes clear up on front, because the site just kind of slopes down to the south, and there's an existing drainage way that runs right through here. So we'll just sheet flow through the trees to the creek.
So then does it go on to somebody else's property?
I mean, eventually it goes through Corps of Engineers ground. And they actually prefer, when we worked with them on this site over here, they actually preferred us not to have it point discharge locations. Anytime you put in a stormwater basin, you end up funneling things to one point. They actually prefer the sheet.
And how much of the gray area there where the lots are is open? Is it?
So, yeah, the gray area is what is available to build a house on. But once you get past this point, grades start falling away. The sewer's not enough. So whoever builds a house here is going to have to build their house clear the front property. And all of this is in a preservation easement to preserve the trees, so they won't be allowed to trees later.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Dean covered a lot of it. Staff is in support of the waiver. The detention requirements, we feel that any benefit you get from detaining the additional runoff is negated by the fact that you have to take trees out to do it. The is mature, and as Dean alluded to, we met pretty extensively on the larger Big Creek Ridge development with the Corps out on the site, or out on their property, looked at it, and they have a hayfield wetland management type area that the DNR helps them manage downstream of this area, and they said the point discharges on those sites make it near impossible to use it the way they're using it now. So Dean was correct in saying that point discharges are discouraged, particularly in this area. One item of note is in our memo, recommendations were subject to Postal Service approving the locations of the cluster mailboxes. Shortly after we put the agenda together, Dean was able to get the Postal Service, and they've approved that location. And then the one other thing is, so on Outlot Z, these two buildable lots will have outlots created and tied to them. Essentially, it's that existing drainage swale that runs through their backyards. It is included in the FEMA flood map, and so per city policy, we're separating those as outlots and tying to adjacent residential properties to protect flood insurance and flood liability. Staff recommends approval, and then would look for a recommendation from the P&Z on the waiver of the detention requirements, and then a recommendation on approval or denial of the preliminary plat. I guess the last thing to mention as well is that this document is meant to supplement the existing document. Essentially, the way we had CDA and the developer set it up is everything in the preliminary plat still applies to the other 23 lots. This is literally just added to the end of the preliminary plat to govern these lots.
So the waiver of detention, would you like that in a separate motion?
Yes, please. Because you are, so essentially council will have to act on it specifically because they are waiving a code requirement.
Where is the existing pond at on the other?
It is, it'd be back behind some of the lower lots. Yep, so it's right there.
Is that tight, or could you account for it in the pond easily, or in lieu of the waiver?
We can't get the water to this location because there's a creek between the two, so that water can't. But this pond's plenty big, so.
Yeah, they are over.
I mean, could you contain more?
We're kind of over
and
detained.
balance it out is kind of the question.
They're over. That was part of the remediation developer did as part of the Corps' request. Essentially, after the preliminary plat stage, during the construction stage, drawing stage, they added a sedimentation basin on the bottom of that detention that kind of helped settle some of that water out to make sure that they weren't discharging the adjacent.
Did we receive any public comments since no one's here?
No.
Any further discussion, commissioners?
Just a general comment. Something that made our job a lot easier was having these two lots combined with one access point and having that be directly across the street from what would be another already approved access point onto what would be a major arterial road. And so appreciate staff and the developer working together and getting that all together before it came to us. Not sure where that originated, that idea, but I appreciate that.
Is there a bike rack? Just kidding. I would entertain two motions.
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council approval of the Big Creek Ridge Plat 1 amended preliminary plat, subject to engineer and staff's comments dated June 13th, 2024, with the exception of recommendation number 1, which will be handled in a different item.
Roll call, please.
Prignitz,
Yes.
Cyrus,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Bowersox,
Yes.
Yes.
Triplett.
Yes.
I would also like to make a motion that we recommend to council their approval of a waiver of detention for the Big Creek Bridge Plat 1 amended preliminary plat based on staff guidance and also from staff and from the Corps of Engineers, and assurance that over remediation of water is occurring in existing structure.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Prignitz,
Yes.
Cyrus,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Bowersox,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Triplett.
Yes. Moving on to item number 6, reports and particulars. Council liaison.
It's been a little while. I had to think back when was our last update here, but we've been, I guess, regrouping, reprioritizing a few things. We're going through prioritizing our next round of CIP updates, so kind of took the initial run at that. Still have some things to work through, but getting the wheels in motion on getting our next range of CIP laid out there. The High Trestle Trail connector, that was another recent thing that came through. We are going to bring it to the square, but instead of passing through here, we are going to come up, is it Bluff Street back there?
Bluff to Second.
And then,
Bluff.
yep, and then come through Deer Haven, and then up kind of through by Home State Bank. So that was a recent trail connection piece that we had some discussions on, and that's the route we're going with that. Do you
Is
have a
that
question,
on
Chris?
city or property within the city, or does that go on port property?
That will be along either street right of ways, or there are dedicated outlots through the crossroads of the lakes subdivision.
So again, that comes up on Second Street to Broadway.
And then north side of Broad. Down to that, there's an existing trail
Trail
that's stubbed out.
to that trail.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it comes up Bridge Road.
It comes up to Bridge Road, so it would,
Okay.
there's a trail just past, it would be just southeast of Grimes Street that's stubbed about 100 feet from Grimes Street.
Okay,
We'll pick it up there, and then it goes through that new Crossroads of the Lake subdivision, and then, as Mandy mentioned, it ends on the Homestead Bank parcel.
Okay.
It'll connect to that trail the Homestead Bank just built.
So yeah, continuing to move the pieces along, and that was a big piece to kind of get nailed down there that we. Another thing that we're still regrouping on, I think the regional park, there were some discussions that were had. We had a consultant that was doing a feasibility study for us, came back, said there's definitely appetite and interest here in the community, but we might have to relook at the project a little bit, the fundraising efforts in this community. As we all know, there's not a lot of big corporate donors, so that came in lower than they were originally kind of hoping for. So we're going to take another look at the regional park and figure out the next steps are there. But again, definitely interest and appetite, but we got to figure out how much we can really pay for and then what we can. Those are the highlights. Think I missed it? Think I
Okay, great. You did good.
I know, I'm like,
Chelsea, you have anything to add?
We have reached out to Leonard Senior Living and have not heard anything back on when they plan to get started on construction. I have not heard anything from Hy-Vee, but I was notified last week that they listed their lot for sale. So I know those are two properties that are requested updates on. I just wanted to give that as an update. That's all I've got.
On the Leonard project, when does that site plan expire?
That is a good question.
12 months after we approved it.
Yes.
that's pretty
I
close.
So
don't,
it should be.
yeah. Was it last,
Yeah, that sounds right.
for last winter?
Yeah.
Well, but we didn't finalize until, remember there was a delay with
Oh, because of the title.
the purchase and stuff, so. Yeah, the initial, but there was a delay on when council did
Yeah,
the,
we'll have to look at the site plan approval, but you're right, we've cut substantially into the lifespan.
Travis, do you have any?
I believe so.
Right, commissioners?
City Hall update?
We have a final walkthrough scheduled for Friday, June 28th. And we are expecting to take occupancy shortly after that. Yeah.
And Ace, that's very quick. Looks like they're,
They are hoping to be open this month.
They landscaped today.
okay, I saw there was a lot of activity.
I think they got a truck today too, honestly. I think I would leave it down this afternoon. They got a truck up there, so I don't know what that was full of, but it you had an adventure, I'll tell you that.
Town. Do you leave town? You're always here.
There's nothing else. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Second?
All right. There we go. That was pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.